Welcome to AXREM Insights, developing healthcare through medtech and innovation. Join Melanie Johnson and Sally Edgington as they talk with our industry leaders and experts.
Hello, I'm Melanie Johnson and I'm here with Sally Edgington. Welcome to our Christmas special. Today we have the pleasure to be speaking to both Jeevan Gunaratnam, AXREM's Chair, and Hugh Shumer, AXREM's Vice Chair. Now let's get ready to delve a little deeper. Welcome Jeevan and Hugh, and thank you for being on the show again. With this being our Christmas special and the fact that we spoke to you already earlier in the year as part of our Meet the Team podcast, I feel we know you a little better, but I feel there's a lot more to know. So with that in mind, if you can both tell us a little bit more about yourself that you haven't divulged already, and the more fun, the better. It is Christmas. So Hugh, do you want to go first?
No. I can't think of anything.
While you're thinking, shall I jump in? Buy you a couple of minutes. How's that?
Yeah.
All right. So on a Christmas theme, I don't know. I do talk about this, but I don't know that I talk about it a lot. So something that I do at Christmas, and I've done for the last 9 or 10 years, is that I volunteer. Volunteer at a homeless charity called Crisis for Christmas. And so for about the last 9 or 10 years, I have gone to a shelter in Bermondsey and kind of do several shifts every year. So it all got a bit strange over COVID, sorry, and we weren't able to function in the same way. But I'm looking forward. I booked my shifts for this year, so I'm looking forward to do it. I usually go on Christmas Eve or Boxing Day. I don't go on Christmas Day because I like to be with the family, but on other days I tend to go in, and it's a really rewarding and humbling experience, and I love it. And I wish we didn't have to do it, but we do, and so it's really rewarding. And what's amazing is that actually there are a whole bunch of people from our community. So I have a couple of regular friends who are radiographers who turn up as well, an X-ray and an MR radiographer. So I meet with them every year, and so it's good to catch up on work and also and to do something a little bit outside of what we normally do.
Oh, how lovely. What got you into it? Was there like that particular charity?
I've always wanted to do it. So I remember being quite young when Crisis started it used to be in a warehouse in Docklands when they first started. And I remember thinking at the time, oh, I'd love to do that. I'd love to be part of that, and just feel like you give back something at Christmas time. And then every year I used to apply, and I was always too late. It's a bit like Wimbledon tickets. And so I'd never get there in time. And then, a few years ago, I just got lucky and I happened to think about it. And it was exactly at the time when they were asking for volunteers. So I managed to secure my slot. And I think ever since then, once you've started doing it, you know what the timings are. And so you make sure you're available and ready and willing to do it at the time. But it's important to make sure you know that you're going to do it and you've got enough time to give up for it. So yeah, no, it's a rewarding thing. It's actually more fun than it sounds. The guests are lovely, and so we do have, especially when they're doing karaoke, it's a great laugh, and we have a lovely time.
Oh, what a lovely thing to do, and good for you. So Hugh, tell us a little more.
Yeah. So as you remember from the previous podcast when I confessed some of my history, I'm also pretty musical and played a band, but I started playing the church organ and started playing when I was about 14, 15, and I was a deputy organist for a while. And Christmas time, I was dropped in the deep end for 9 lessons and carols when the organist didn't turn up, and I wasn't really quite prepared and very nervous about it all. So they started the 9 lessons and carols singing Once in Royal David City, but because I was so nervous, it wasn't of a nice, slow, quiet one carol. It was fairly quick. So the choir pretty much galloped into the church, out of puff, a chorister panting and singing a solo as they went in. It was probably over and done with in about 1 minute and 30 in total. and everybody was killing themselves laughing and started the 9 lessons and carols with a good giggle. And then somebody had to come and tell me, next carol, can you just play it a little bit slower, please?
Well, wow. At least you managed to actually play it, though. That was good. Thank you. Right. So now, Sally, we can't miss you out. Obviously, we had our podcast, well, the first podcast for AXREM Insights. So please divulge something that you haven't shared with us already.
I probably have divulged this on LinkedIn, but I am Mrs. Christmas Madness, as Mel knows quite well. So I'm sitting here now in my office with my RNLI tree over my shoulder. So I always have my RNLI tree here in memory of my dad. But yeah, I go absolutely mad. I've got 7 trees up. I've got several thousand lights up outside my house. And it takes me over a week to put all of my Christmas decorations and lights up. And I was actually just saying to someone the other day, I think I go a bit mad because it kind of is also quite a difficult time of year, missing loved ones that are no longer with us. So I think I kind of use this time of year to go OTT to kind of probably shelter, some of the pain as well. But my kids think I'm absolutely mad, and I say they're kids, but they're 19 and 21 now.
I was just about to say, they're not kids anymore, Sally.
Yeah, and they still have to have stockings, and I still do all the traditional things, and they're just like, they think mum's a bit sad, but I definitely spread Christmas cheer this time of year, and I'm a real giver, so I just love watching them open their presents, and I go totally overboard, but I wouldn't have it any other way.
Thank you. So as I've said already, this is our Christmas special, and today we'll run a little bit differently to our normal podcasts. So with that in mind, we're going to look back at 2024. So to do it a little bit different, I'm going to run some unofficial AXREM 2024 awards. So I've kind of put together some award categories, and then I'm going to pass over to you guys to give me obviously your thoughts. So award number 1. So top AXREM event of the year. Shall we start with Sally?
I think there can only be one event that was the top event of the year, and it has to be our Strategic Priorities Parliamentary Reception. It was by far the biggest and most prestigious event that I think we've held as AXREM, and I'm super proud that we carried the event off in the way that we did, and the attendance that we got, with just under 200 people in attendance, including members, external stakeholders and some parliamentarians. And it was really good to get the support of Baroness Meron, Parliamentary Under Secretary of State for Health, and Tim Farron, the MP. And yeah, I think it was just a fabulous event that brought our community together, and the hype that we saw after on LinkedIn was fantastic. Everyone was just absolutely buzzing after, and the event was amazing. But I have to add a caveat there that the hard work's now going to start, because that was our strategic priorities 25 to 27, which will come under Hugh's remit when he steps up as chair in January. So we're meeting in the new year to discuss how we can push some of these things forward. But the event was absolutely fabulous, and I'm sure Jeevan and Hugh would probably concur with that.
Oh, absolutely. Jeevan, anything to add on that, or do you have a different event of the year?
No, it's obviously the same event. I think it was an absolutely brilliant event, and the whole team, Sally, Mel, yourself, and the whole of the AXREM team did an amazing job. It's as chair, it's easy to chair and to kind of ride on a wave of success, but all the hard work that went into that was by the team. So yes, but I will, just for a bit of variety, suggest another event, and that is our social event at UKIO. And that was an incredibly well attended event where Hugh and I got our buckets out and went around raising money for AXREM charity, or getting people to put money into their bucket. And the highlight for me on that event was Naughty Sally, who had arranged for a prank waiter to fall over and frighten everybody by making it look like they were about to start a fight or something. And then they picked up a microphone and started singing, and it was all a lot of fun. But it was a great celebration for our sector. We all work hard. Healthcare is it's sometimes a bit of it can be a tough place, especially when funding is tight as it has been this year. So it's great to be able to also find occasions to celebrate and be together with your community. And that's what we did at that event. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, and just to add to that, it was fantastic seeing the CEOs of a lot of our big member companies with their hands in the air singing along to Sweet Caroline. I've got the video footage and I watch it often and it makes me really smile.
Yeah, absolutely. And Hugh?
I've got to agree. I think the strategic priorities parliamentary event. When I look back, when I first joined the committee in AXREM, probably about four and a bit years ago now, I didn't think that we'd be in this position that we are now, and I think that shows how much we've grown as an organisation, membership, the focus that we're getting, and then to have that sitting in Parliament on that roasting hot day in that marquee right on the Thames with some really big hitters, and I think Sal and the team did a really good job in getting all of that sorted, and I think it's encouraged us all as members and given us that motivation to run into the next year now with those priorities in mind. But I also think we've also got to recognise that awards ceremony we went to 3 or 4 weeks ago, where Chris Taylor also picked up that award for sustainability, and that's obviously something that's really important to us all and part of what we were thinking in the strategic priorities as well. So there's the two events. The main one, of course, is that parliamentary event, and the second one was the awards event that we went to the other week.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Super. All right, so some of these next ones you might have kind of mentioned a little bit, but we'll carry on. So most memorable moment of the year. It doesn't have to be an event. It could just be something that's happened. It doesn't have to be just AXREM related. It could be within industry as well. So Sally, I will come to you again first.
So I think for me personally, as the leader of AXREM, I think growing the team. So in September, we had 2 new staff members start, and having started with AXREM almost 6 years, it'll be in March. I think my role was 3 days a week for AXREM. So my role then became full time. And then just a year ago in May, obviously Mel, you came on board full time, and we were both working extremely hard, far too many hours to mention. So I think in September, it literally has changed our lives as a team. And actually last week we came together as a team for our first kind of Christmas party celebration, and seeing the team together, it was so lovely going to that event as a team, because it used to be just me and sometimes I just wouldn't go because of time. So actually to have the time and have the team, and I think we've built a really strong team environment already. I think we've all got each other's backs. We work as one, and that is so important for the progression of AXREM in the future. And we knew that obviously, doubling the size of the team could bring its complexities as well, but actually Donna and Naomi have literally slotted in, and it feels like they've been with us forever. So I think that's a really good sign of what's to come. So yeah, definitely the highlight for me and it is having that team growing, and I'm hoping that in 2025 I do get a better work-life balance, because definitely growing the team should help with that.
Yeah, absolutely. Like you say, we couldn't have carpool karaoke with just 2 of us, really, could we? We needed a full car load.
Yeah, as I was saying before we came on video, I was very happy to land on my driveway when we got back after 2.5 hours of listening to the AXREM team singing.
And wasn't it beautiful, Sally?
Yeah, well, I do have video evidence, which I should not share on LinkedIn, but maybe I might have to share one in when this goes out.
Quality. Jeevan.
Highlight of the year. Oh, there are so many. There've been a load. There've been a whole load of highlights. But I think one that's been a kind of ongoing highlight for me has been AXREM's interaction with some of our key stakeholders. And there are a couple that are kind of connected that I think we do really well with, who are NHS England and the network of trade associations that work in partnership with NHS England. And I think I'm really proud of the role that AXREM plays in that relationship, and how I think our voice, we are consulted on many things now. And, it's so nice to be in a position where we can where we can represent our members and our voice gets heard, and we're able to hopefully have some kind of steer on future policy. And that's something that I know Sally has been very active in, with support from myself and Hugh and the rest of the team. So I think my highlight of the year is just kind of the regular kind of drip feed or cadence of meetings that have happened with NHS England and all of our kind of trade association partners.
Yeah, and haven't there been a lot?
There have, as you well know, because you're involved in setting a lot of them up.
Yeah, no, that's brilliant. And Hugh?
I think highlight of the year would be the parliamentary, but for fear of doing that to death on this podcast, I'm going to drop back to another one, and that was probably the Sustainability Manifesto launch, which I thought was really good and a good venue for it, and a good little wander around, and that was very, very strongly linked into the sustainability. But maybe on a lighter note, that same event was when Chris Taylor, Sal and myself ended up in a pub quiz because we drove down the night before, accidentally joined this pub quiz, all super excited and confident, and then came 4th out of 5, I think it was. But
you've done well then.
We did come up the ranks. We were last, and I have to say it did make me realise that my general knowledge is not as strong as I might have first thought. So yeah, that was definitely a highlight, but also one of the biggest challenges.
Well, at least you didn't come last. That's what I always tell myself. As long as you don't come last, it's fine. Brilliant. Right, so now on to the next one. So funniest moment of the year.
Are you coming to me first, Mel? Again?
Yes. Sally, with you first.
I think for me, it definitely would have to be the singing waiter at the happy hour event, because I've watched back that video a few times as I've been editing it for different things. And there was one particular member, Mike from ADOC, and he'll kill me for mentioning him on this, but if anyone watches it back, his face was just, his mouth was open and he genuinely thought that there was going to be a fight or something. And then you saw another couple of chaps sort of putting their arm out, holding the waiters back from one another, and it literally makes me laugh out loud every time I watch it. So I think that's probably got to be one of the funniest moments this year for me.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. Watching that video back, and actually we might need to repost that video.
Yeah, I think it was
funny. Yeah. And Jeevan, have you got anything to add? Any different ones?
On this one, I think Sally has stolen my thunder as well, because I think that was hilarious. Honestly, I was ready to leap into action and break things up, and only to realise that it was all a huge prank. So no, it was hilarious, and I think it was really important for us to find time to laugh whilst we do the serious stuff. So it was a brilliant tonic to quite a busy and an active UKIO. So yeah, real good laugh, real good fun.
Super. And Hugh?
I think the TAF Awards, the Trade Association Forum Awards that we went to at the beginning of the year, I got no idea why it was funny, but I do recall clinging on to Tony Halbert and Chris Taylor for a long time, laughing and not remembering why we were laughing. But there was something that tickled us, and we were standing there, enjoying the evening, enjoying the company. I blame Tony for it all, but I remember that my sides were hurting at the end of that evening.
And there is some photographic evidence of you in a photo booth with Mel. So, you know, that might have been one of those laughs. But
remember it well.
You do not.
Hugh, I wasn't sure whether you were going to mention, and I won't give too much detail, but we literally fell off our chairs laughing when we attended the same meeting. So we attended a meeting earlier this year. And even I'm going to struggle to say it without laughing, but me and Hugh just literally have never laughed so much. We attended a meeting this year, and I won't say who it was with or anything, because I don't want to give it away too much, but somebody thought they were on muting the meeting and they were not on mute. And they said something like, yeah, it's boring. And everyone suddenly went off camera. And literally, I struggled to get back on camera because I was literally howling, laughing so much. And there was a comment made at the end of the meeting But me and Hugh met the next day and we literally couldn't stop laughing, and I literally fell off my chair laughing. And you have to take these moments tongue in cheek. It was just one of those things, but it made everybody laugh, and a couple of people on that meeting have since mentioned it to me. So I thought that's what you were going to say, Hugh, because my husband, he was upstairs and could just hear me the next day laughing and laughing, and he went, "I know who you've been on a meeting with. It's got to be Hugh." So because we'd mentioned it the day before. So it was absolutely hilarious. So that was another funny moment.
Well,
I love they mentioned it at the end.
I will try to make the next executive committee meeting more interesting in that case.
Yeah. Shall I sit there like yawning?
And it definitely wasn't the exec committee meeting. It was an external meeting.
Oh, you're too polite, Sally. Jeevan, it was the exec committee. Sorry.
Oh, brilliant. And I love the fact they addressed it as well at the end. Oh,
yeah, they did.
brilliant.
They did. They said, "Oh, just in case you find the meetings boring, please do let us know how we can make the agenda more interesting in future."
Oh no, wouldn't you? Oh yeah, bless. Right, so now on to the last question for 2024, the last awards, I should say. So biggest learning of the year. So Sally, do you want to start?
Biggest learning of the year. I think for me personally, and it's probably been the last couple of months, a bit of self-reflection, is that we can't do everything. And sometimes it's good to take a step back and remember who we are and what we're here to do. I think that with all the excitement of our growth and everything we have been doing, I find it very difficult to say no. I want to help everybody and I want to do everything that members expect of us. But sometimes I think that because our profile has grown so much over the last 5 years, everybody wants to speak to us, and that's an amazing problem to have. And I'm super proud that we're in this position. But I think in 2025, we've got to be much more strategic around our priorities, and we commit to things that are really helping with those strategic priorities, and always making sure, which, has always been my focus, is members are at the heart of everything that we do. So everything we do has a focus on helping members. Obviously, ultimately, the aim is to help patients and the care and the NHS and everything else. So, yeah, I think for me, the biggest learning is just to sometimes take a step back and to really look carefully at what we're doing and what we want to do, and to not, now we've grown the team, I don't want us all to be at full capacity again, where we need more team members. We need to manage with the team that we've got. So that would be my biggest learning.
Yeah, no, I think for me personally, talking about that, I think I've said this a few times recently. Let's not overcomplicate things. Let's just simplify it, but do it well. I think I feel like I've had that on repeat in certain meetings recently. So yeah, no, 100% agree with that. Jeevan, should we go to you next?
So biggest learning. So it's funny, isn't it? Because I'm coming, as we're in December, I'm coming to the end of my 2-year term as chair. And so it's been something I've been reflecting on quite a lot, actually, what's happened over the last couple of years. And I think one of the learnings from this year has been we've grown the membership a huge amount, right? Really, really, and people are constantly coming and saying they want to be part of what AXREM does and represents and so on, which is brilliant. And I think we must never lose sight. And what's been, I think, a fantastic kind of effort from all of our team is we have to listen to our members, and our members are really diverse. So traditionally, we were always kind of focused very much, I think, on X-ray and diagnostic imaging and so on. And now we have members who are a sound team and a radiotherapy group, and and actually people who are kind of into AI and IT and that whole digital space. So and some of our companies are huge kind of global blue chips, and some are really small, British companies. And we have to look after the interests of all of our members. And that means sometimes when we're going and looking at policy and what we want to do in the future, we have to kind of be mindful of making sure we represent the broadest possible spectrum of interests of our members. And I think that's been a really good learning for all of us.
Yeah, absolutely. And I just want to say what a fantastic job you've done as chair.
Hear, hear.
And Hugh, you've got a lot to live up to. No pressure. No, thank you, Jeevan. Now, Hugh?
Very similar to Jeevan, actually. I think, look at the biggest learning. I've been vice chair for 2024, and coming from a background where I've only really worked for Fujifilm in the industry, I've never worked for any other organisation. And then come January, I'll be in the chair seat, and I need to represent a much broader industry and representative body of AXREM. So this past year, I've been trying to use AXREM itself to understand, and the meetings we go to understand the other companies that I don't really have that much experience of, like radiotherapy groups, as Jeevan said, and AI and all the other different divisions that we have. So I've been trying to use AXREM to broaden my own knowledge in order to sit in January and represent properly and in a fair way as well. I want to make sure that everything's fair and represented properly for the next few years.
Yeah, there's a lot to learn, isn't there?
Yeah, and I know I haven't picked it all up as well, so I'll also need to keep that learning going.
Mel, before we finish on 2024, can I just give a few facts and figures that I've actually just got ready for our exec committee meeting? So I'm hoping this goes out after.
It will, yeah.
Because it won't ruin it for the exec. But I've just been putting some facts and figures together over the weekend. And in terms of member engagement in 2024, we actually hosted 32 special focus group meetings. We hosted 34 working group meetings. We provided 10 free webinars for our members, and we engaged in 14 other member meetings. I visited 21 of our members around the country. In terms of external engagement, we've actually attended 212 external meetings with organisations like NHSE, Supply Chain, Department of Health, NICE, MHRA, etc., etc. And then kind of business development for the organisation, we've actually had 45 potential member meetings, and we've actually got 25 new members in the last 12 months. And then marketing activities, we've actually published 50 news articles, 33 of which have been printed in Rad magazine, and we've also had 15 adverts printed in Rad magazine. We've published 20 podcasts this year, and we've published 9 different papers and position statements. And then in terms of our social media reach, which I was absolutely gobsmacked at, on LinkedIn, we've actually had over 366,000 impressions. We've had nearly 8,000 reactions, almost 500 comments, almost 300 reposts, and we've had over 1,500 new followers. So I just thought that would be quite a nice way to top off the 2024 kind of achievements for the organisation.
Pretty
I haven't really
good.
got much to say on that. I'm a bit kind of like, we're hearing those figures. It's just wow, isn't it?
I think that over 366,000 impressions on LinkedIn, which is our only social media platform now, I think just shows how many people we are reaching and the engagement that we're getting. And I get daily messages on LinkedIn, people inquiring about membership or asking about the work that we're doing and wanting to engage in it. So that has become a very, very important platform for us. So and it doesn't cost us a penny, which is fantastic. So it's a really good resource.
2 years ago, when we had that strategic event in Birmingham, we were saying that we wanted greater awareness. So the whole membership said that we wanted greater awareness, and that was built into strategic priorities for next year. But you can see already that has already started working. So well done, Sally. I think all of that has been down to the profile that you've got for AXREM.
And well, I have to be honest as well. Like, I can't believe this week I've actually gone over 13,000 followers on LinkedIn that just follow me. And I was just saying to some friends about little old me, Sally. It's unbelievable that 13,000 people are actually interested in what I've got to say and do. So, obviously that does help with the AXREM reach as well. But it's just been absolutely incredible how many people have taken an interest in AXREM and myself. So again, just a a very super proud year. And I put a video together for our exec committee, which we will be putting out on social media the week before Christmas as well. And I would just take I think it's about 4.5 minutes long to watch it, because it's just such a small snippet of our work. But I struggled to get, I wanted to get as much as I could in this video, but it's a tiny proportion of what we've done this year. And I watched it and I showed my husband and I was like, how did we even do all of this? It's really, really good. So yeah, it's a big kudos to the team, the exec committee, Hugh and Jeevan, and everyone else that's involved, all of our conveners and members that engage with us.
Oh, well done, AXREM. Okay, so now looking ahead for 2025, what are you most looking forward to, and what are some of the key events that our listeners could be looking out for? So I'm going to start with Hugh, I think, as the chair for 2025.
Well, I think the thing I'm most looking forward to is taking the reins and sitting in that chair from January. It's a bit daunting. There's a little bit of nervousness about it, but at the same time, I'm really looking forward to it. And for the events for next year, the very first committee meeting, probably, where I'm sitting in the big chair. I'm hoping Jeevan's going to be there as well to support, but I am really looking forward to that and kicking off 2025 as AXREM chair. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, super. Have you got any tips, Jeevan?
Well, just make sure to keep my mic on mute and not say it's boring.
Again.
Good tip.
Oh, I love it.
Good tip. Brilliant.
No, he'll be fine. He's already chaired. He's already chaired quite a bit already, and he's a very, very good chair. So I think AXREM are in very good hands.
So now for you, Jeevan, then. So 2025, what are you most looking forward to, and key events?
A rest, I think.
That's a good answer.
No, look, I'm going to be vice chair for a year, and so one of the things we will do is help ensure there's that smooth transition. Hugh takes over as chair. I'll support as much as I can as vice chair, and then at some point during the year, we will elect the next vice chair for AXREM. So that will be a great opportunity. And therefore, I think maybe a bit of a rallying call to anybody out there who is part of our AXREM family and interested in getting involved in a more kind of substantive way, then do please think about throwing your hat in the ring to be a future vice chair and chair. The other highlight, I think, is hopefully I'm looking forward to attending ECR, the European Congress of Radiology. It's one of my favourite conferences. It's in Vienna next year. It'll be the end of February, early March. For the first time in 19 years, we will have a British radiologist as president of ECR or ESR, and that is Professor Andrea Rockel, who spoke at the AXREM parliamentary event. So really excited to do that. And I think the highlight will be that I will be joined by some AXREM colleagues, I think.
Yes.
So looking forward to doing our AXREM stuff, not just at home, but abroad too.
Yeah. As some people say, Sally, double trouble.
Absolutely.
We'll have some schnitzel together in Vienna.
Absolutely. That sounds a plan. And Sally, over to you.
I've got a list of things for 2025, but then I should have a list because I lead the organisation. So, there's lots and lots of things that I'm really super excited about for 2025. We're going to be making an announcement and doing a proper press release in the new year, but we've just decided on our next charity of the year. In 2024, it was Alzheimer's Research UK, and we've raised over £3,550 for that charity. So next year, we will be supporting Action for Children. And I'd love to think that we could increase what we're raising for them. So I've got a few ideas of things that we can do. So I'd sort of in my head, I'd love to raise £5,000 as a minimum next year. So we'll look at how we can support that charity with fundraising, but also, the messages that they've got and sort of helping with the profile of some of their events with our reach as well. I think there's a couple of papers that we're going to be publishing early next year. So we've got our Imaging IT Manifesto that will be launched, and we're just finalising details, but we're going to be launching that at Bletchley Park. I think the code breaking is very in keeping with Imaging IT and how that's helped us with innovation and IT today. So that's going to be an exciting event. We're also launching our AI Manifesto at the RCR AI conference, their new conference, which is going to be at the QE2 in February, beginning of Feb. So I'm excited to launch that. In March, we are going to be holding an invite-only event for International Women's Day, and we've got some really good headline speakers lined up for that. And that'll be a real celebration of all the women in our industry and kind of raising the profile of women in our industry, because we want to see more diversity, not just women, but more diversity within our industry. And then I'm going to continue my tour of the country. So I've done 21 member visits this year. We've got 71 member companies. So I've still got lots of members to visit. So I'm hoping to, continue that tour. So I'll be arranging visits early next year. And then there's a couple of events. So we've got a very strong partnership with Convencies. And next year we're going to be hosting 3 joint radiology conferences in London, Birmingham and Manchester. Hugh's actually going to be chairing the first one in Manchester, and I'm going to be on a panel discussion there. So I'm really excited about that and hoping members get behind it. We're going to be exhibiting there. So AXREM will have stands at all 3 events, and we'll have quite a big presence and hopefully get some of our members involved in some of the panel sessions, etc. And then ECR is a big highlight for us again, Jeevan, because me and Mel have never been to ECR. So that'll be AXREM's first time there. So we'll be Team AXREM representing our industry. So we're looking forward to meeting lots of new people and old friends and faces as well. So if anyone is going to ECR and would like to have a meeting with AXREM, please do reach out to us, because we'd very much welcome that. UKIO is always a big highlight of my year. I love going to Liverpool. I know not everyone's a fan of going to the same place every year, but personally I absolutely love going up to Liverpool once a year. We're going to be running our event again on the Tuesday evening, and we're already working on what we can do to make it different and exciting, to kind of build upon last year's event. So I've got lots of great ideas for that. And then I'm hoping to next year also attend RSNA. So I saw everybody's LinkedIn messages and comments and posts about RSNA, and I think it's about time that we did take AXREM more global. So a different conversation, but I'm hoping you and or Jeevan will be there next year, and that we can fly the AXREM flag and have some activities out there. So I say that I'm going to take a step back and not be so busy, but then as I'm reading that, I'm
sounds like a quiet
oh
year.
my gosh, it's going to be really busy. But no, that's kind of some of the sort of things we've got planned in the first sort of half of next year.
Should be a good year. Lots on. Okay, so now a little change in tone. So Jeevan and Hugh, Sally doesn't know about this, by the way. So this is something a little fun. Okay,
Oh,
so I'm openly inviting you both to ask Sally any question at all. Okay, I don't mind. I've got one to start with. Look at Sally's face now. Okay, so Sally, from me, if you could have any wish for yourself, not for anybody else, just for you, because we know what you like, okay, what would it be and why?
There's only one thing that ever comes to mind if anyone ever asks me. I'm going to get all somber now, but it would be to spend even just a minute with my dad. That would be my only wish I'd ever want to do. I miss him so much, especially this time of year. Hence why I've got my RNLI tree behind me, because we support the RNLI, and I've raised just over £16,000 since he died. But yeah, I wish I could just have some time with my dad, because he was always he was always the one that gave me the best advice. He was always the one that was very calm. I had lots of surgery when I was a child. I always took my dad with me. He was always that reassuring face as soon as I woke up from surgery. He was there, and just I felt immediately reassured. We didn't have to ever say anything to each other. He just held my hand, and I knew everything was going to be okay. So, I think that would be my one wish.
And he would be very proud of everything you're doing. I know that.
Do you know what? I so wish that he was here now to see. Like, you know, when my dad died, I was a single parent. I was homeless for a short amount of time. You know, life wasn't very easy. And for me to, over the last 14 years, to have built the life that I've now got, I know how proud he would be. And I just hope he's there looking down on me.
He will be, and he would be super proud, you know that. He was a lovely man, so that's a good wish. I like that
Yeah,
one.
thank you.
Hugh, come then, give Sally a question. Let's maybe
Take
have a
it
little bit
up
more
a tone.
It depends how cruel you want me to be. So it's one question with two flavours, and you can choose which one you want to answer. So with it being Christmas and mistletoe, and you have to kiss someone under the mistletoe, but is it going? You can either choose that you can either kiss an AXREM member,
Oh, God.
or
It's getting a bit saucy.
if you're not going to go down that route, just a celebrity.
I think I'll go down the celebrity route. As a CEO, I cannot show favouritism, and I am also married very happily, Hugh.
But if it's a celebrity, it's fine.
I was really hoping you were going to say celebrity.
If I could kiss a celebrity, oh,
She's
God.
got a list.
No, I don't know. I don't think about kissing other men. Oh, I don't know. I've always said, taking it away from the kissing thing, that if ever I could sit and have dinner with someone, and I think I mentioned this in one of the first podcasts, I'd love to have dinner with Alan Sugar.
We'll go Alan
I-
Sugar. She wants to kiss Alan Sugar under the mistletoe.
Because I did try out for The Apprentice and got quite a long way in the audition process many, many years ago before I had children. I always just respect him as a businessman, and I think he could probably give me lots of advice on kind of HR, business, and that sort of thing. So I've changed the question up, but I suppose if I had to have a little cheeky kiss with someone, maybe Peter Andre, you know.
It doesn't have to be on the lips. It could be on the cheek.
He's at the top of my list.
I have actually met Peter Andre, though. I was a bit disappointed when I met him in person, so I wish I'd only ever seen him through the TV, but you know, such is life.
So you're not going to be his mysterious girl then, Sally, it sounds like.
Definitely not.
And unfortunately, Jeevan, it doesn't look like she wants to kiss you either under the mistletoe.
That's fine.
You should have
That's
just
fine.
said one of these two, or both of them.
That's fine. Yeah, we have a great relationship despite that.
Oh, brilliant. So, Jeevan, what's your question?
Oh, so Sally, I know because because of our chats, but also listening to her podcast, has done a million jobs. I'm not sure there are many jobs left that she hasn't done. But my question is, no, we're very happy, and Sally's very stable as AXREM CEO. But Sally, my question to you is, if you weren't the AXREM CEO and you were looking for that next adventure, that next challenge, what would you choose?
I feel like I should stop that there because she's never allowed to leave.
It's fantasy. It's fantasy.
Okay, that's fine.
There's probably two. So I'm always going to do a job where I feel like I'm helping people, because I feel like that's kind of my sort of path in life, if you like. So I would either love to head up a charity, because I think that I've done lots of charity fundraising over the year and raised tens of thousands of pounds, and it's something that I'm very passionate about. And I love the fact that we've brought that into AXREM. So one of my passions is part of my work, which is fantastic. So either heading up a charity, or I get so frustrated with my interactions sometimes with, well, not my interactions, I suppose, but what you see on the TV and reading the news about politics. I'd love to be an MP, because I would be in it for so the right reasons, and I would be wanting to do what's right by my constituents if I was in that position. And so I think that I would be probably quite good at representing the views of my local community, and I live in a lovely community. and think it would be a real honour, and it sometimes can be quite frustrating. And I just would love to see politics really cleaned up, and for, you know, people to be doing the right thing at the right time, and for us not to be seeing all these headlines about different, you know, we all know what the headlines are. So yeah, so I think it'd be one of those two things, but probably the nicest would be the charity sector. So I would love to head up a charity, but I'm very happy at AXREM. Don't worry, Melanie. I am here. You're going to have to boot me out to get rid of me now.
And we won't ask what colour hat you'd be wearing in politics. We'll leave that one.
Yeah, don't ask. I probably wouldn't wear a colour hat, to be honest. I'd probably be an independent.
Yeah, probably a safe bet, to be honest. Okay, so now to end, I won't be doing my usual quirky question. We've got a couple of Christmas themed questions. Okay, so what would be the best Christmas present, the best present you could receive? And this could be a hint for family members because it is going out on the 19th, so there's still got a few days. So what would be your best present you could receive? So who should we start? Jeevan, should we start with you?
Well, I have family all over the world. So I have a brother in Dubai and a sister in Frankfurt and another sister in Bristol. So my best Christmas present would be, and in fact, we will be doing it this year, so it is good for us all to be together during Christmas. Because it doesn't happen very often. And Christmas is all about being together and family time and making it special. So yeah, that's the best thing in the world.
Absolutely. No, I agree with that. And Hugh?
Very similar. So I think I got two young children. I got a 5-year-old and a 7-year-old, and best Christmas is just watching them enjoying Christmas. We put a Christmas tree up last night, and it was great to watch them put everything 2 foot up the Christmas tree, and then my wife have to come along later on and move it all back up to the higher areas. I tend to stay away quite a bit with work. I was in RSNA last week, and do miss seeing them sometimes. And I think the best Christmas present is to spend more time with those two, because they are the reason that I do what I do.
Absolutely. And I do not miss rearranging the Christmas tree. I do not miss that at all.
It gets rearranged on a daily basis by the looks of it, especially when there's chocolates on there. They disappear quite quickly when they're up to the height of a 7-year-old at a full arm stretch.
Oh, bless. And Sally?
I'm going to be greedy and say a couple of things actually, but I'm not so my kids kept saying to me, "You're so hard to buy for. What can we buy you?" And I genuinely don't need anything. So I actually said to my husband, I said, the best thing that you could get me is some time for us together. Like you, I'm away from work a lot. My poor husband has to manage his diary around my diary, and he also does a job where he travels for work. And I seem to get priority these days. So I would just love us to have some time together. And I think that I might have got that a night at a hotel or something for Christmas, which would be fantastic. But like Jeevan, my sister lives in Australia. I would love for us to spend Christmas together. But I already know that she's coming back next Christmas, which I'm so excited about because I haven't seen her since August 2019, and the children, my niece and nephew AJ and Caroline. So that I'm already excited about next Christmas and already buying things for next Christmas because I'm so excited. And then I'm going to be really greedy and say, if you could have a present that was non-realistic, I'd love for time just to slow down a little bit, because I feel like there's never enough hours in the day, home or work. So it would just be lovely. And I am actually hoping that I feel like that over Christmas, because I'm actually off for 3 weeks, because I've not been able to take all my holiday this year and time that I'm owed. So I am actually off for 3 weeks, and I'm hoping that time really just goes nice and slowly, and I get a really good rest, and then I come back, you know, raring to go, pumped up, ready for 2025. So yeah. And Mel, we need to ask that same question back to you now, because you've not answered any of these questions. You've had to stay.
I like this. I like that answer the questions. Brilliant. No, mine's probably the same as you guys, really. It's just the time, isn't it? Having the time to spend together, that quality time, not just like the passing in, I don't know, in the kitchen, but sitting down, playing board games. I think that would probably be my thing, really. Because, like I say, we do spend a lot of time together, but we don't perhaps get the board games out, and I don't know, it's just that, isn't it, having a few drinks and a bit of fun. So that'd probably be my thing, which I plan to do this Christmas.
Yeah, we know you like a few drinks, Mel.
I meant the board games. I've actually bought a couple of Christmas jigsaws as well. Maybe I'm getting old, but I'm looking forward to that as well. So yeah, that's my one. So next one then. So what is the worst present you've ever received? And you don't have to say who it's from. And I will start because this was like an awful present, and I won't say who it's from or what time of year. But yeah, someone gave me a present and I opened it, and it was Peppa Pig bath toys. And this was a few years ago, so I was in my mid-30s. Who would ever think to buy somebody in their mid-30s Peppa Pig bath toys? I don't know what they're trying to say about me or whether they don't like me, but that's what I got. And sorry if you were listening, but that was an awful present.
Oh, well, I can jump in straight away. I cannot hide my dissatisfaction at a present. That's why I'd rather not receive any. So my family all laugh at me because they just like, I always guess it before I open it. So I give it a little shaky feel. Go, oh yeah, that's a handbag, or that's so and so. And they're like, oh, you've spoiled it if we've even opened it. And then if I don't like it, I just can't help but hide. Like I can't hide it. I'm just like, oh, okay.
Can I see your like surprise face? Pretend you're opening the present now.
I can't. I just can't. I just look at it and go, oh my God, what have they got me that for? But the worst present I ever got was a birthday present, and my husband and kids, probably about 10 years ago, brought me an inflatable Zimmer frame. So yeah, they were excuse my language, but they did get two big fingers stuck up at them.
What birthday was that for? Your 40th?
Do you know, it was before that. It was about my 30th or something.
Oh, that's
I probably need it these days, to be fair, but back then I really didn't.
Oh, brilliant. So Jeevan, what's the worst present you've ever had?
Worst present I've ever had. I'm just thinking, I did have something in my head just a second ago. Yes. And it's because my wife loves me so much that she wants me to spend so much time with her. So one year she decided to give me a Gillian McKeith You Are What You Eat diet book. And I know she told me at the time that it's because she wanted me to lose weight and therefore live longer and spend more time with her. But I think on the basis of getting that, I'm not sure I wanted to hang around that much. So that book
was that a big enough hint for you, Jeevan?
Yeah, I think so. So I can't even stand that particular character. But anyway, that book went somewhere on a top shelf and has never been seen since.
See, that would have gone straight in my present cupboard to re-give to someone else. But then I don't think I could have given that to someone else.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love that one.
Sally, you may be in luck this Christmas.
Don't you even think about it, Jeevan.
I'm good at doing a good pretend smile. I'll be like, oh, thank you, Jeevan. That's lovely.
There you go. Mel wants it. Mel wants it.
Oh, brilliant. And Hugh, what about you? What's the worst present you've ever had?
It's more like worst presents. So a family member a long time ago bought me some fairly horrid aftershave, and then bought me the same stuff every year for about 15 years. So it wasn't like the first thing he said, oh, thanks a lot. But then the next year, same size package, you open it, ooh, surprise. And it's
because you probably convinced them that you liked it. If you'd done Sally's face, they wouldn't have bought it again.
See, there are some advantages of being honest.
I guess, yeah, because our bathroom resembled a shelf in Boots for a while, with everything was exactly the same on there. And it was horrid stuff. It's terrible. But yeah, that's probably the worst stuff. Presents.
That's all right, Hugh. Next time we're at a meeting together, I'm going to be like this. Oh.
Oh, brilliant. Well, a big thank you to Sally, Jeevan and Hugh for being great sports today, and a huge thank you to listeners. And I just want to wish everybody a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
And I just want to say to Mel, thank you very much for all your support and help doing these podcasts. You've got the proper DJ podcast voice, much less common than me. So I just want to say thanks to Mel for all your hard work and everything that you do for AXREM and our members, and to Hugh and Jeevan for all the hard work they do. It's a voluntary role, and we are super proud to have you both at the helm of AXREM, working alongside the team. And we're really grateful for everything you do for us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, everybody.
I'll just say thank you, Mel, thank you, Sally, and of course, I think thank you to everybody in the AXREM family. Hope you all have a wonderful Christmas and rest and recharge, and we'll see you in 2025.
Wishing everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year from the AXREM team. And join Sally and I again in 2025 for some more podcasts. Watch out for the socials. If you have enjoyed today's podcast, don't forget to hit subscribe or feel free to share the podcast with friends.